Hi YouTube, this is my second video. I've decided to make some of my rare pieces of the watch collection. I've been meaning to do a video on this particular watch for a long time now, but I guess my main incentive right now is the fact that I'm thinking of letting it go, so I want something to remember it by. This is the Seiko SBCW005 Flightmaster. It's a watch using the 5M45 GMT Kinetic engine. Back then in the day it was known as the automating generating system, hence the AGS you see right underneath the Seiko brand name. This is a very unique watch in the Seiko lineup because it very closely resembles the well-known Rolex GMT Explorer. Perhaps I would say it's the most beautiful homage to that particular watch. It's fully made of titanium, and this is also normal regular titanium you would usually see, but also with alloy, titanium alloy you see in the Brights range of watches, and this gives it a look which does not really differ from the more traditional stainless steel approach, but just by weighing it on your hand you realize that this is something special. This weighs around, I don't know, 90-95 grams perhaps with its bracelet. It's a very, very light watch. Truly is a traveler's watch because of this weight, but also the GMT mechanism. You'll see a bezel here which is unidirectional, it turns both ways because it's not a diving bezel. It's a bezel meant to keep track of another time zone, separate time zone. And it's a true GMT in that if you unscrew the screw-in crown, on the second position, we are now in the second position, you are only turning the hour hand 1 hour forward or back. So if you are changing time zones, this is very handy because you keep the GMT hour hand at your local time, and you simply change to and fro regular 1 hour intervals. And of course on the third position you move all the indexes together. There's no quick set date. That's a little bit different from what you normally expect, and it can be a pain, particularly now because it's the 18th of February, and February having 28 days, I will have to advance all the way to the 1st of March simply by using the hour hand. Now this is a truly beautiful watch. You can see the polished edges, the brassed edges. You can see this unique bracelet with again a mixture of brass and polished. It's a little bit grayer than the case, not much. This is the only telltale sign that this is actually a titanium watch and not a stainless steel watch, but it looks very nice. It looks really nice. And look at this bezel, the way it is made. You have very nicely polished half moon and very nice granular. It's pretty hard to capture. There we have it. A granular half moon. The indexes, very well made. The hour indexes. The second hand has this unique S because it was the flagship of the AGS or Kinetic technology back then. Seiko went really all out with the quality on this one. And this watch is superb. Interestingly, it also has drilled lugs on both sides. This makes it very easy to change straps, of course. Caseback is also pretty unique. Again, yes. Flightmaster. Truly a showcase watch for this technology. And it was very expensive back in the day. I think it was retail was around 130,000 yen, which is quite expensive. It's about $1,200 with today's exchange. Because back then, kinetic technology was all the rage, of course. It was supposed to be that one day all watches would be made this way. Of course they weren't. The automatics made a comeback. This is the first incarnation. There is another version with the 5M65 engine, the newer version of the same engine. It's essentially the same engine, really. Only some electronics have changed. If, for example, 5M45 has a problem, you can simply switch it with a 5M65 or even a 5M85, which is the latest incarnation of the GMT Kinetic mechanism. They have the same dimensions, the same openings. But they're very robust mechanisms. I got this one from Japan. I only had to change the capacitor inside. Typically, if you're wearing the watch, you can expect at least 10 years of changing between a new capacitor and an old one. Look at that bezel, just unique. Just unique. This button here, as with every kinetic watch, is the power reserve indicator. Depending on how far the second-hand index moves, when you press it, it's an indication of how large power reserve is. This one is around 3/4 full. Which is approximately 1 to 3 months for the GMT movement. You can leave this watch in the drawer for a month. It will keep on ticking. Kinetic movements are quite precise. The GMT movements may be even more so, for some reason. That's my experience, at least. The only downside about this watch and bracelet is the fact that there is only one micro adjustment. Look at the quality of this clasp, it's phenomenal. There's only one micro adjustment and the links are the same size, so if you're not happy, you can only have one micro adjustment and then the buckle doesn't really look all that nice, since the buckle is not of the oyster style but simpler kind of extension system. But this is just really a small complaint. Depends on your wrist to get the perfect fit. It's really hard to find a bracelet with all the links on. My wrist is 18.5 centimeters and there are 2 links to spare, so I guess a full-sized bracelet is okay for around 20 centimeter wrists. Usually, if you pick one of those beauties up, it's sized for smaller wrists, if they're coming from Japan, which they usually are. This was a JDM model most of its time. I think it was imported in the States when it was upgraded to the 5M65, but I may be mistaken. Otherwise it was mostly sold in Japan, which is a pity really. Now, it's very hard to see it right now, but the dial is not uniformly black. There's a very, very fine pattern. It's nearly impossible to show. I try to have a photo with the video there. That's a very fine honeycomb pattern. It's a very well-made dial. It's, I don't know, Grand Seiko quality really. Say it on the wrist. As I said, my wrist is an 18.5 centimeter wrist. This is 38.5 centimeters across without the crown. Including the crown, I'd say it's around 41. So it's not a big watch. Of course, it's very light. It's feather light, right? But it's beautiful. You truly forget it's there. It's a very unique piece. Quite obviously the best GMT Explorer homage you will find, and it's even lighter than the original. More wrist-friendly really, the titanium. Look at this polishing, look at the quality of the finishing here. Fantastic. Fantastic. And the bezel is titanium alloy. It's very unique. And it changes with every change in lighting, in ambient lighting. You can truly look at this watch all day when it's on your wrist. Very unique watch. Very unique in the Seiko lineup. Haven't seen really GMT Explorer homage ever since from Seiko. There was also one variation on the bracelet. It appears that end production models also switched this bracelet for a more typical oyster style bracelet. But, you know, this bracelet is so unique and so nicely designed that I think that wasn't a pretty smart thing to do. And with the links being so relatively small and flexible, there are even gaps between them. This is truly a very, very comfortable bracelet to wear even during summertime. You won't get a lot of sweat wearing this bracelet. It's, of course, feather light. Let's not forget that. People tend to forget how important it is. Focus. Better. People tend to forget how important it is to have a watch not only fitting on your wrist, but is not wildly larger, especially lag to lag, than what your wrist would permit, but also a watch that is light on your hand. You know, if you're wearing this watch business travel for hours at a time, when you're flying transatlantic, there's nothing worse than a heavy watch on your wrist. You have to wear it for hours at a time. And I'm not a believer of carrying a lot of watches with me on a long trip, or a 2-day trip, or a 3-day trip, because, you know, there are always security issues. This watch looks beautiful under a wrist cuff. It's sporty, it's elegant, it has a time zone, ability to keep very accurate time. You just pick it off the shelf, wear it. There are ways to keep the Kinetic watch charged, so there are no issue there. And this watch is very serviceable because it's just a screwback case, right? And you can get a capacitor for like $10 really. It's not expensive by any means. And if something goes astray, you just get a full new movement. They're not really that expensive. I think Cousins sells them for something like £80 sterling. So there it is, folks. Very unique watch. Truly unique watch. Thank you for watching. my second video, tried to have somewhat better quality this time. For a watch that's a quality watch by itself, and it really deserves a good video to show all its beauty. Any comments? Welcome. That's all for me. Thanks for watching.